Let's go. This is the Chasing the Frame podcast, where we interview people in the TV and film industry, talking about their journey, how they got to where they are today. We do this podcast for the frame chasers. This is for those in the film industry, going hard, let them know who we are. Frame chasers, we're not chasing the fame, no. Tell them what we do, we're chasing the frame. This is the Chasing the Frame podcast with your host, John DiMarco. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's another episode of Chasing the Wave. I'm your host, John DiMarco, and again with me, like always, friend of the pod, Marc Ravasco. How are you today, Marc?
I'm pretty good.
Good to hear. So today we're going to do something interesting. So I would like to bring my filmmaking friends or actors onto the podcast, and I like to interview them. So Marc, you have the honor today to be interviewed by me.
I'm so honored.
Speak a little louder. No one can hear you.
I'm honored.
Okay, a little too loud, but okay. So let's start off first, Marc. So what do you do in filmmaking?
Well, right now, I guess can I talk about both of them? I guess.
Whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
Tell me.
So my main job or my main enthusiasm in jobs in general. My main job is basically a colorist. Mm-hmm. So I work on. So I don't know if you guys don't know what a colorist is. We're basically like a small group of people, because there's not a lot of colorists actually. Mm-hmm. But basically we're a small group of people that take what we would say the final edits of a film, of any type of film, and we actually take it from its basic values in color and enhance it completely.
Okay, I know what that is, but the viewers at home don't, and that's bad. I mean, I love color correction. I find it very fascinating. It's what you can do with an image prior to seeing it. If you ever get a chance, I want you to do this, guys. Everyone, please type in red file, like red camera raw, okay? And then go for Google Images, and then
just remember, there's a lot of like raw and a lot of different types of code.
I'm just giving them an example so they can see what color. Or here, I got one better for you, folks. Go to YouTube.com, type in red color correction, or red camera color correction, anything with color correction in it, and watch the before and afters of what a colorist does. It's very fascinating. It's very cool. And now I've known Marc. And I'm kind of like, I kind of skipped behind a little bit. But I've known Marc now for about 3 years we've known each other.
Yeah, I think it's
been 3 years.
Yeah.
And Marc was actually an intern at the place I used to work at, Fremont East Studios. When I first met Marc, he was doing audio. So this is a big different turnaround from what he originally wanted to do from when I met him. Now let's go back all the way. So what made you get into filmmaking? Let's start with that.
Okay, so... even before like Fremont East, even before my audio school, actually, I've always been interested in film.
Yeah. Now, sorry to cut you off, but was there a movie or anything of that nature that got you into wanting to be a filmmaker?
The Matrix.
The Matrix. Now, why The Matrix?
Oh, it was different at its time. It was definitely a different movie.
Mm-hmm.
There were many movies that were released, and there were very, very good movies out there at that time, of course. We all know there are masterpieces out there, but there was nothing like The Matrix at its time. There was nothing like a bullet time movie with a humongous twist.
Yeah.
Spoilers, by the way, if you've never seen The Matrix.
Which is pretty sad if you never saw The Matrix. It's been 20 years now.
The fact that one scene, the fact that Morpheus had to tell Neo that this is not the real world.
Yeah.
The Matrix is a digital frontier of what you believe is the real world, when the real world is actually... a mechanized city that's full of mechs that takes all your freaking all your fluids and turns you into a battery.
Yeah. Now I don't know. You guys can't see this because it's not video form, but seeing Marc and him explaining the Matrix and what made him love the Matrix and wanted to go into filmmaking, Now it's passion. It's
Yes.
his passion right there for film. Like what made him go into filmmaking, and that's what everyone should have. Any filmmaker who is passionate about their craft will be passionate about their favorite movie.
Oh, yes.
If you're not passionate about your favorite movie, then why are you a filmmaker? Let me ask you that. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah,
Not to ask you that in general. I'm just opening
I got
that.
you.
But like The Matrix is great.
I'm offended.
Now, I said The Matrix is a great movie, but not everyone's gonna love The Matrix.
Oh,
but when
yeah,
someone
there's some people that
can
don't.
justify The Matrix of why they love it, then you know there's passion in that person. They love their craft. They love what they do, and they love what they got into.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm seeing right now from Mark. And it's I love seeing that in people. And thank you for I love seeing that. And the bullet time thing. Now let me ask you this.
And there's also another thing. I mean, they did a lot of iconic stuff too in that movie.
There's a lot of great iconography. Is that the right word?
Something like that.
Okay.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
The movies itself is one of the most iconic movies ever created because the red and the blue pill.
Yep.
In the frame of a frame within the frame.
Yep.
Moment where you see the pills also off the off Morpheus's sunglasses. The whole welcome to the real world line.
There's a lot of lines that are great in that movie.
The most iconic one, the bullet dodge.
Yes, that was the most. That
was like the biggest one out of all of them.
Now, did you have the VHS of The Matrix or no?
No.
Oh,
I know what the original one looks like though.
The
original Matrix.
Oh no, I'm asking in general because on the end of the Matrix, the movie, the VHS, they had the behind the scenes stuff on there.
Oh yeah.
So that I didn't know if that's what I was asking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know what you're saying now. Yeah.
So that's cool. The Matrix. So that's around
1999.
1999.
Yeah.
That's almost 20 years too. That's funny.
Yeah. It's very.
So okay. So the Matrix got you into that. Now you weren't that. Now it was. What did you want to do when you saw the Matrix? Did you want to direct? Did you want to do the camera work? Did you want to do post production? Did you want to act? Let me ask you that now.
Originally.
Yeah.
I the thought process was I want to be the director.
Yeah, I think that's everyone.
I want to be director.
Yeah.
But then as I thought about it, when I look back at it, I actually wanted to be cinematographer.
Okay.
If I were to see my younger self and actually see the passion that I felt when I saw that movie, and to really think that I wanted to be a director, I actually meant to say I wanted to be a cinematographer.
Yeah.
Because how that movie was shot. And this goes back to color again.
Yeah.
Because that movie had a certain color tone to it.
It did.
If you notice. So here's the thing. This is why I'm a colorist now. Because these kind of things show up.
Okay.
The Matrix. In the Matrix. When you're in the Matrix, when the character Neo is in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Everything around the whole entire parts of the Matrix are all in green.
The Matrix world, right?
The color tone of it is very greenish look, which is supposed to signify that it's it's like a certain color value of say the Matrix itself.
Yeah. Was that also because it's a computer in a sense?
Yes. And the symbols of Matrix itself,
Yeah.
what we see on the computer screen of what's defined as the Matrix, with the symbols and all that. But it also is on top of that. There's another meaning to that color as well.
What was that?
The sickly outlook of it. When we look at color, what do we think? What do you think of blue?
Well, I think cool, it's kind of sad a little bit.
Yeah,
too.
emotion-wise.
Emotion-wise, I feel sad, or
Okay.
just glum.
Red.
Red, I feel angry.
Okay, angry. Orangey.
I don't know actually. I can't think of that off the.
It's more of a happy tone.
Is
actually.
it? Okay,
Or passionate.
Or I see that as purple, personally.
Yeah, well, I mean, orange still gives you that passionate tone.
Yeah, okay,
It's around there.
Yeah,
still.
okay.
It's still around the red.
Yeah.
Red, orangey, pinkish areas.
Oh yeah, because that passion tone can turn into anger.
Yeah.
In a sense, if you go from orange to red,
you
it's
could definitely do
right?
that. And then, what do you think of green?
Money.
Okay.
Well, that's
Okay.
just that's the firthing that popped in my
Okay,
head.
that's one. What else do you think about it?
Sick.
Emotionally.
Well, I kind of think sick because when
Yeah. What about green and yellow?
green and yellow.
Green, yellow together.
Well, that's also sick too to me.
Yeah. Doesn't that look like puke?
Yeah, because you remember the cartoons back in the day. Okay,
Yeah.
I see where you're going.
Yeah,
But
you see
remember the
what I mean?
cartoons though. Whenever someone got sick,
Yeah.
I always saw them turn green, a shade of green.
Yeah. So that's what I was getting to. So it also had a meaning of that. And because there's a lot of greenish, yellowish tone to the Matrix as well.
I never saw the yellow. I always saw the green though.
There's a lot of green, but if you notice, like in the color tone of like Neo, for instance, have you noticed that it's a little bit yellow in some ways?
I'm gonna have to watch the Matrix after we talk about this now.
So I mean, we could bring up a picture if anything.
I can't. We have no internet.
Oh yeah, there's no internet.
We're still in the no internet phase, folks.
But basically. That's one thing about it. The other interesting aspect of the Matrix as well in color is the real world.
Okay.
What do you notice about the real world when you see it? Green is gone, if you notice.
In the real world, it's always blue. It's always always a blue.
Which is what does that remind you?
Sad.
Of? Yeah,
sad.
depressing, right?
Depressing.
Well, the Matrix is sickening.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's still the same genre. I guess the same feelings in some ways. Like you're very closely related.
Yeah, because when you're sick, you're depressed in a sense.
Yeah.
You're not always happy because I'm sick, but you're happy. Well, the only time you're happy if you're sick is if you have to
if
take
you
off
notice
work.
too, if you notice, the real world is also very it's natural too. At the same time.
Oh yeah.
Like their skin tone, everything, it seems natural in color.
Okay.
So basically that's the most interesting part about the Matrix is like you can tell when you're in the Matrix and when you're not.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a scene and you go, this is the Matrix.
Yeah.
This is not the Matrix. And it's very interesting how they do that. It's that's one of the reasons why I went to color too, because it's like
because
stuff
of the
like
Matrix.
that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay. It's funny as a child.
it went back to that. Actually, not just it's not just because when I saw the Matrix.
Yeah.
That's made me passionate to become a director or cinematographer. It's the fact that I went when I was an adult and I wanted to become a colorist. I looked back at that movie, and I was like, and it brought me back there, and I was like, "Whoa, I didn't realize that at first."
It's kind of like it gave not a 180. Well, I guess no, it wouldn't be a 180. Technically, in a sense, it's kind of like the reinvention of yourself in a sense. Because you're like, when you first saw
those
it,
defined me.
Yeah, it defined you. It defined you again as a person. So it's like the second definition of you, I guess.
So I guess it is my favorite movie ever.
It has to be. It is. It is because it brings you to the dance of what made you want to be into film.
Yes,
obviously, right? Yes. And then it want to make you a director. And then, excuse me, everyone, I burped. Then you watch it again when you're at this. Well, we're not there yet, but I guess you're gonna be at a rut later on in life where you're like, I don't know what I want to do in the filmmaking world. Yeah. And you watch it again, and you're like, holy shit, I found my calling.
Yes,
that's when you find your calling. So you basically, in a sense, kind of, not to be biblical, but you're kind of like Jesus. You resurrected yourself in a sense.
Yeah.
So okay, that's interesting. And like I said, Matrix is a great example of anyone who want to be.
That's a masterpiece.
To Mark, it's a masterpiece. To me, it's a great movie. But again, my favorite movie always changes like the fucking day. So that's a problem too. So but I'm gonna say Ghostbusters or Back to the Future 2 are the two films that actually.
Oh my god, Back to the Future is a great.
But this isn't about me. This is about you today. So. Okay, so you watch The Matrix, you do that, and then what? Then you went to school for audio. So where did that shift come to?
So okay, so here's the thing. When I was in high school, I was still thinking about film. Actually, that was the craziest part. I still like.
Now, did you make any films? By the way, let me side tangent.
Did you? I did small little things. Okay. I had a PSP, a PlayStation Portable.
Okay, yeah.
So there was this cool thing about the PlayStation Portable back in the day. You could get from Japan this little camera that's attaches to the PSP camera. And it was like no other camera. There was no other camera at that time that was portable like that.
That's awesome. So was that your first camera ever?
That was like my true first video camera.
Okay, awesome.
Because there was also handy cams out there, but this one did 720p recordings at its time. And if you remember, in 2006, there was no cameras like that.
No,
that
there
did
wasn't.
720p.
It was still in the 480. If you think about it
was 480.
480 because
for consumer level too.
Yeah, WWE like going to wrestling real quick, but I don't think WWE did HD till 2008.
No, a lot of things weren't in HD yet.
Yeah.
The cool part about it is that I had my first ever 720p camera. and I put it right on my PSP, and my
Yeah.
PSP can do it. It came all the way from Japan because I asked my parents for it. I asked my parents if I can get it, and they
Yeah.
could get it from Japan.
Yeah.
And basically, it shipped over from Japan. I put
Yeah.
it on. I made small videos with that thing.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I never knew that about the PSP, by the way. That's something that's
well, I was a big. I'm a.
yeah, you're a gamer.
Let's. This is kind of a little hush hush, or it's not really a hush hush thing, but it was more like back then it was a hush hush thing. I was a otaku, or what I would
What
call.
the fuck is an otaku?
It's basically. Dude, you guys should have seen his face when I said that.
It sounds like a taco.
What the fuck?
It sounds like otaku. It sounds like an octopus.
No, it's basically it's anime fan.
Okay.
A humongous anime.
Oh,
fan.
okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Ridiculously
Who, you know what? I'm not gonna judge you for that.
But in those days, it was frowned upon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, those days it was frowned upon.
Oh.
Yeah. Now
That-
it's
now everyone and their mother loves anime.
yeah. This is definitely the time when everything's okay. about that.
It's all right, anime. But
Yeah.
that's another story.
Yeah. But basically, I was very into Japanese stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the whole bit. Just why I said that.
Yeah.
Is because I found it on an article.
Okay, that's really
on the
cool.
internet, and I was like, there's a PSP camera. And I was like, dude, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard of. And then I asked my parents to grab it, and I got it. And yeah, I did like these small little things. I was into metal that time too,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I used metal as my background.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Music for it?
I did that too as well as a child.
Yeah, because I didn't really think about like orchestraic type of music being any emotional gravity towards your films.
Yeah.
I just thought like any music would work. So
Well,
I was
that's
like,
I mean, that's what you. That's it's funny because any music I thought would work too, but it's not all about that. As you grow,
yeah, as you grow and you understand film a little bit more,
Yeah.
it's emotional. It's you're supposed to have emotion. There's a
Yeah.
reason why orchestral music is used in film because
Yeah.
it grabs you.
Yeah.
There are dynamic moments. There are, but that's besides the point. But basically, we'll get to that sometime in the future. But
Yeah.
basically, when I just put on like metal for like this fighting scene kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I remember I was so terrible at editing too.
well, yeah. I mean, what did you have back then? There was like really
I had
nothing
Windows
to edit.
Movie Maker.
Dude, I had GL2. Remember I had GL2 at one time. No,
I
no,
don't think I've never.
Sorry, no. Let me go back. I had a JVC camera, right?
Okay.
And I didn't know how to hook it up. You can like file transfer.
drive, right?
Well, the thing was everyone had Windows, so I couldn't you had to use FireWire to get to that. So I couldn't edit any of my movies really. So I had to do the old
Whoa.
tape, like okay, stop, then
Yeah.
that type of
Holy
thing. But
shit.
that was a lot more complicated because when I got my Mac finally, my first Mac computer,
Right.
I had FireWire 800 and 400. So when I had the GL2 then. So I was lucky enough to finally transfer shit onto that, but that's another story.
That's another. Yeah, that's
that-
like transferring. That's
Yeah.
like an extra step. Yeah.
a whole bunch of things. And
Yeah.
So but yeah, man, like so you got that 720 thing, but still, how did you get to audio? So because you go from like wanting to be this film director, watching the
Right,
Matrix,
right.
you go you got
Well,
the 720.
that's where I was gonna
yeah.
get at. Yeah. So basically, after I did that,
Yeah.
and just to let you know, my editing back then is there's like you have to press like the right trigger, the right click shoulder
Oh,
button.
so you were inside PSP to edit?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
I know I did the recordings that way.
Oh.
But I basically I had to press down the R
Yeah.
the R button on the shoulder pads. And when I pressed that, you can hear this click to it.
Oh.
So it was terrible editing because I didn't know how to cut back then or
No
cut
one
the
knew.
audio.
Yeah.
And I was like, and whenever I would skip to another scene, because I did the scene sequences right,
Yeah.
like I even framed them correctly
Yeah.
and actually cut them to the point.
Yeah.
I never took out those click
Clicks.
parts.
Now, what were the movies that you were making? Like, what kind of movies was it?
Oh, it was just skits, like little
okay.
tiny. Because I was into this this website called tomorrowsnobodies.com.
What was that website? I
Oh
never heard
man, it was funny. It was like a bunch of dudes that made animated shorts
of it. Oh, okay, that's cool.
that were funny as hell.
That's
And
awesome.
and they also made skits like they
Interesting.
made like their own skits where they made this guy named David like stupid. Like he's a stupid friend. basically, and he does all the stupidest shit in their group,
Now-
and they know it. That he's gonna do something.
Now let me ask you this, because I have a theory, but like, because we're in the like I said, I don't know if anyone else heard our other podcasts, but we're basically the same age. Now, we came around a time when Jackass and CKY and all those like now skateboarding films. Did you do any of that stuff too as well?
No.
Well, okay, so then my theory's kind of is null and void on this one.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I was a sheltered kid that was kind
Okay.
of scared of
No, it's all
that
good.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. It was just a question because I know like a lot of the people I think that are filmmakers now that are our age.
They started.
They
Yeah,
started
I agree.
from that, so
or
yeah.
skateboarding.
Or skateboarding, especially like skateboarding videos because they were big because of Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
But okay, so you got that 720 thing. You were making skits like little silly
Like comedy skits,
Comedy
yeah.
skits. That's awesome. And then so you go to that and then continue on your story. I'm sorry about the side tangent.
No, you're
on that.
totally fine.
Yeah.
So after that, I was about to finish high school. I just thought about my future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm a big musician.
Yeah.
I play guitar. I sing as well.
Yeah.
And basically, what happened after that is that I was like, you know what? I'm really into this band I'm in
Mm-hmm.
because at the time I was in the band called Air Drifter.
Yeah.
I was really getting into this band I started, and I was like, you know what? I like audio.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about back then when I did do that edit
Yeah.
of that one skit with my PSP, and I hated how the clicks sounded.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to take care of that because you don't hear that in movies ever. You never hear like somebody press the record button and hear like the fucking
Yeah.
button close. Like you don't hear like a noise when you do that.
That'd be really bad if you did.
It's terrible, especially when you go to each scene. It's like oh, okay, next scene.
Click.
Yeah, and
Well, at
it's
least you know it's a new
constantly
scene.
that. You hear that constantly in every single scene. But basically, I was kind of sick of that too.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided. I told my parents I would like to go into audio production. So I
Awesome.
ended up going into International Academy of Design and Technology.
Okay.
Over in Henderson, Las Vegas.
Yep.
Well, Henderson, Nevada.
Yeah.
And after that, that's when I started my career as an audio engineer.
Cool.
And I went through 4 years of college.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was a time when I was doing audio, and I actually was wanting to quit. There were
Really?
times, yeah, there was a time.
Now,
and
why
that
did
was-
you want to quit?
That's when film came in.
So now here's the question, because now I'm curious, because so during those 4 years, did you kind of repress film, or did you like have it?
So actually, it was
yeah.
freshman year
Okay.
and senior year, or freshman and sophomore year.
Okay, so the first
I
2
was,
years.
I was into audio.
Okay.
Like really into it.
Yeah.
I was very passionate. I did really well. I had a 3.8 grade point average.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great,
Yeah.
man. Smart cookie.
Then junior year came.
Okay. Now,
And
what made you get back into the filmmaking? No.
So I took. They were taking a lot of juniors.
Yeah.
On different jobs.
Okay.
Like they were offering volunteer work.
Yeah.
So that you can get yourself out there.
Yeah.
I took one with the camera
Okay.
because it was the first time.
Okay.
This one shoot that they were doing,
Mm-hmm.
because I was supposed to also be a boom op.
Okay.
It involved two Canon cameras, Canon DSLR cameras.
Gotcha.
It was the 60Ds at the time.
Okay.
We had two of them. This girl was in one of the cinema classes and stuff
Yeah.
like that. She had these two cameras,
Mm-hmm.
and she was using it.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, can you be my second? Can you be my second camera op?" And I was like, "Sure."
Now, were you shaking your pants a little bit because you haven't been behind the camera in a long time and you have no idea how to use these cameras?
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Well, you fake it to make it, right?
Yeah, right. But she taught me a little bit about it though.
Awesome.
I learned. That's how I learned about ISO, shutter speed, and aperture.
Nice.
I learned it on the fly too. It was
Hey.
like right there and then I learned about it. I learned about it just enough to say like what's the ranges.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So that night,
Yeah.
after we did that shoot, because I was so interested in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned about like manual focusing and stuff like that too,
Yeah.
right on the spot too.
Great.
It was eye opening
Interesting. Yeah, I think that would be too, especially if you're so immersed into audio for 2 years, and then
you saw something new.
You're like, holy shit, what the fuck is that? You want to learn about it.
Yeah. And I remember I used to love thinking about film. Like, what would I be like if I was a filmmaker? You know, this would be a lot different. You know, because and they used to talk shit about filmmakers a lot. Audio guys.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's terrible.
What are tell me some of the things they say.
Oh my God, you want to hear it?
Yeah,
okay.
Give me a few.
If you want to know what audio engineers are like, guys, here's it. They don't know shit about sound.
Well, that is true. That is a true fact, and we'll get to a later story about that later on.
Okay.
When I talk to you.
Okay. So they don't know shit about sound.
Yeah.
Is one. Another one is whenever you always bring your own fucking gear because they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, that is true. I think you're supposed to bring your own fucking gear, to quote them, actually.
Well, I mean, like, even at, like, a set that's supposed to provide, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would, too, because, like, no matter what, I'm still going to bring my own gear.
And then they're like, don't expect directors to tell you where the fuck you should put your boom.
Well, inexperienced directors, I'm going to say, don't know where to put the boom.
Yeah.
Experienced directors will at least know, because they'll see the boom shadow if you're naive and dumb.
Yeah.
So I think that last one's a little too much, but other than that, I agree with everything else.
But that's why I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Another thing is they're like just realize that you're not important on this set.
Well, that's everyone on the set, unless you're an actor or director.
No, but I mean, like, with audio, you're the last thing they think about.
Oh yeah. I would agree with that.
If they don't wait on you, it's because they don't care.
They'll be like,
and they expect you to do amazingly. Anyways,
MOS guys, we'll just get MOS for this. It's fine. We'll do ADR. That's what every student filmmaker will go. We'll just do ADR. That's really what it is, and I hate that so much.
Yeah, I hate that. And there was a moment where we had our own project we had to work with ADR.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh yeah. So I mean, a lot of that was my fault. I'm going to say that right now. A lot of it was my fault, and I do admit it. And but you know what? We learn.
Yeah, you live and learn. And so junior year, you get into that camera, and is that before we met? By the way?
Yes.
Okay, so
that's way before.
Okay, so interesting.
That's 2 years before.
Okay, cool. And then, so you got that. You start questioning, basically, like a priest, your religion.
What? Yeah, exactly. Like, what is this right for me?
Yeah.
Should I stay? See, here's the thing. I had a dilemma. Even in my head, and it was kind of bugging me for that rest of the year.
Yeah.
Where I was like, do I continue my audio engineering capabilities?
So what made you continue the audio engineering capabilities?
I'm already 3 years in.
Oh, that's true too. That makes sense.
And it's kind of stupid to drop out and not get a degree after you almost spent 4 years.
Well, that's very true, because that's kind of like last minute.
That's what made me keep doing it. But there was a time though where I even thought about actually changing my career.
So what would you change to filmmaking?
Yeah, I was going to go into cinema basically. Okay. But then I realized though that I would be starting over again.
Yeah. Well, did you ever think of dual majoring though at the same time, or was that like out of the question?
That was not possible with this school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering. And then so you go into senior year. You're like, okay, I got one more year of this. But then, did you think after that, like, did you go, okay, so senior year I can at least have an audio degree, but I can go back into cinema because I kind of know the shit. Like, what were your thoughts going into that? Like, did you?
There was a lot of stuff that was happening.
Okay.
One was I was starting to get through this moment with my band where we were getting kind of angry towards each other.
Yeah.
It was starting to become like band drama and stuff like that, and I eventually got kicked out.
Yeah.
There was that, so I got depressed from that.
Oh, geez.
Then my grades started slipping really badly.
Yeah. And then did you not care about the audio anymore? You just did?
It was like half between I didn't care about audio as much as before, and I was more ambitious towards film, and I started researching more about film.
Now, and so your senior year, is that when you came, right? Just Fremont East?
Yes. So that was close to the end of senior year.
Okay, so but when I met you though, you were very passionate about audio though. Like
I still like audio a lot. I still understood it. I still, if anything, at that time when I was there with you guys, I had a great freaking time, like just learning about everything there, and I think like seeing all the equipment that you guys had made me even more passionate towards audio again. Yeah, in some ways.
You came in, you were wide eyed and bushy tail. Like I think is that the correct? Every day I saw Mark, he would just be like really excited, and that was great. Like seeing that, and that's why I still use Mark for all my projects, honestly, because Mark will get shit done. And I'm not just saying that because he's next to me. I'm being honest. I put my trust in the Mark, no matter what. To be honest,
I try my best.
I know you try your best. It's hard, but I believe in you as well. That's why I also call upon your services whenever I can make a shoot.
Right.
So, but that's me getting a lot ahead of ourselves. So let's continue. So Fremont East. What was your time there?
So Fremont East. That was it was Candyland for me.
Yeah. It was.
It was a candy shop.
It was. Now, what was your favorite time at that internship? Like, what was your best, like, your favorite day or your favorite moment or whatever it is? Like what was the best thing about that internship? Let me ask you that.
Camera op.
Well, did you do it for the
little band? That little guitarist type of group that like the Hawaiian ones.
Oh, the Will and the Want.
Oh man,
was that it?
That was fun.
Okay, cool.
That was probably the best part because I was operating the camera.
Yeah,
and I was also on one of the live broadcast cameras, and that was the highlight right there. That was definitely my favorite part.
Is that when now question 2? Now, when you went to Fremont East, is that when you're like, fuck it, I want to do filmmaking?
Yes.
Okay,
that's exactly it. Fremont East was the one that, I'll say it. The brainchild of that, was definitely Fremont East.
Interesting. Now
that's what sealed the deal.
It gave it the kiss of death, and that was Fremont East Studios.
I will say this though, when I was in Fremont East, I did not know shit about film.
Well, you learned. Right?
Yes, I learned a lot from there. I'll
did.
say that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know shit. I came in not knowing shit. I just knew audio.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that I did before was like consumer grade stuff. Yeah.
But that's what's great about having an internship though too. You learn so much, and even like production studio in general, you can tie yourself down to
especially if you're as passionate as I was at that time.
Well, yeah, because anyone with passion will learn.
Yeah. Because the biggest thing is I soaked everything like a sponge.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I took everything in. Like if you were because I've met people that were that aren't passionate. Yeah. That go into these things and they don't care. Yeah. It's really sad. And because I'm like, dude, you don't see what I'm seeing. Like, I think there was one kid like that was also an internship there. There was someone else I remember.
Interesting. I don't remember. I honestly
he was another guy I was helping out. Basically, he wasn't always there like I was, but he was helping out a little bit. I can't remember, but basically he was there. He was helping out with like the camera op and all that. But
there's only 4 interns I remember. You, Meredith,
and I knew her.
Isla, right? I can't. I'm saying her name. Probably I'm butchering her name. And then Andrew, who did motion graphics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and basically, it just felt like that guy was just not as. He didn't care as much. Yeah. I was like, and it was kind of like eating me a little bit. I was like, dude, you don't feel for this? This is this is cool, dude. This is, and I think that's what was the difference. I noticed the difference from there. Yeah, it's because I soaked everything in because I loved what I saw. Mm-hmm. I loved everything I was seeing.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, you were wide eye and bushy tailed. Yeah, I think that's the correct.
I loved every single moment of that.
Yeah,
that place.
You enjoy. I could see it on your face every day. Every time I saw you, you were excited to be there. Yeah, and it was nice to have someone who, when people are excited to be there, you're excited to be there as well. Yeah. So it does also make
add to that.
Add to it. Yeah. So post Fremont East Studios, what happened?
That's when I did research. Okay. So I have. Here's the thing. I don't know. My mom and my girlfriend at the time, who was like basically my mother's child, basically. She even said
your child's mother. You mean?
Yeah. You get what I meant. Did I really say that wrong?
You said your mother's child.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's late.
That's totally, yeah.
It's okay. Mark had a long day, folks.
Yeah.
I think he deserves this, actually.
Okay, but basically, at the time, she told me I had this very rare kind of personality.
Yeah.
Where I like to at to all ends meet, reach a goal.
Okay.
And actually really go for it. The thing is, like, I research like crazy. I mean, I research once I
What
get
did
my
you research?
I research everything about filmmaking as much as I could.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I tried soaking everything in. It took me 6 months
Wow, that's great.
to learn as much as I can about a camera.
Wow.
Yeah.
You went hardcore detail.
Yeah, and that's where why I was explaining it. She
Yeah.
told me that for that 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
I was literally religiously like reading about anything camera, and even stuff that I didn't understand at YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I look up articles
Yeah.
and everything
Yep.
about it. And
Great.
that's when I learned about like dynamic range
Yep.
and everything like that. So at that point, I felt like I was at an I would say a comfortable state where I could say like I understand
Yeah.
what to do now, but I didn't have enough experience to do what to do with the knowledge I had with it.
Yeah.
It felt like I just went through college again, but in a 6 month variance of really soaking myself
Yeah.
in. And this was before I had my kid too.
Okay.
So I had a lot of time.
Okay.
Yeah, because if I had my son at the
Yeah.
time, I probably wouldn't have been able to do what I
Gotcha.
did. Yeah, it would be probably impossible.
Wow.
Yeah, I was that engrossed.
I'm not gonna lie, folks. Too. By the way, like, people ask me questions. I have to go to Mark sometimes to ask him questions because I don't know sometimes. Like he know like he does soak up shit, and like I said, I have to ask him sometimes, and we get into heated debates about cameras and
It's
shit.
a curse,
But
honestly.
but it's nice to have someone who's knowledgeable as well, so I can learn more knowledge. So I'm not tooting Mark's horn, but I'm being honest about what I say. I'm never gonna lie to you guys, but that's the honest truth. So yeah, so 6 months took you to soak all that shit in. Now,
Yeah,
did you do
about 6 months.
Now,
You-
did you
you
do?
know what I mean.
Now, what
Yeah.
were you doing during those 6 months? Were you also doing like projects? Were you trying to get on people's? Did you do any film sets?
No,
No.
it was just purely research.
Just purely research. Okay.
Yeah, it was
Interesting.
it's kind of bad to do that. I know
Yeah.
because experience is exactly where you learn from
Yeah.
your mistakes and all that. So the thing is, when I did go in and try to do something for
Yeah.
the first time ever,
Yeah.
it was terrible.
Well, hey, you live and learn, right?
You really learn from
Now,
that.
what was that first thing that you did that at post 6 months?
It was a small little a little skit that I
Yeah.
was doing with a friend.
Okay. What did you learn from that?
Lighting, I was not. I was so far away from lighting.
Yeah.
So I didn't do enough research on lighting. So I learned everything about the camera.
Yeah.
I learned everything about specs of cameras.
Yeah, yeah.
And how far it goes, even up to dynamic range,
Yeah, yeah.
and knowing like what how far like each camera is able to contend with like exposure and stuff.
Yeah.
But the problem was when knowing about there's one thing about knowing exposure.
Yeah.
There's one thing about knowing like aperture and shutter speed.
Yeah.
But if you don't know like how to use a light properly,
You're screwed.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
That whole set is gone. You have no control.
Mm-hmm.
Your framings, your every shot you're making looks like shit.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
I'm not gonna lie. I have to agree. I agree with you because even as a college student who went to like a art school and doing art
Yeah,
projects
yeah.
and like shit like that, lighting that's everyone's problem.
It's
in college.
It's everything.
as a filmmaker.
It's honestly everything. It's everything about your thing. So if you're new to in filmmaking in general, lighting is exactly the first thing you should learn.
Yeah, and I think that probably is the first thing you learn because think
cameras.
Yeah.
I'll say this right now. Doing what I did, learning about cameras, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
great. It makes you knowledgeable, but man, it does not make you any better than anybody else.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I think I missed the class on 3-point lighting, or I went to it and I didn't pay attention because I had 3-hour classes. Sorry, mom and dad, but
Confessions.
I went. I might not pay fully attention, but we learned just 3-point lighting, and you know what? I still don't like 3-point lighting. I feel like that is like
I get it.
Being now in the experience field of what I am, and being on set, and being like just in general having more experience, lighting is not 3 points.
No, it's not.
It's
It's
never
not.
3 points. It's 1 point. It's 2. It's 5. It could be 20. It could be.
But it's definitely
sources.
a starting guide.
It
I'd
is.
say that.
Yeah, it can be a starting guide, but at the same time, if let's take this room for example, right?
Okay.
We're in this room. We're lighting you. I'm not going to 3-point light the room.
No.
You know what I mean?
I do have to say though.
If you're outside, maybe you'll 3-point light it, but at the same time,
yeah.
you know.
I will say though, the one thing I've learned that would help a lot of people in their first time definitely is overhead lighting.
Overhead lighting, yes. Or you know what? Do bounce lighting onto the ceiling. Yep.
That's great. Like if I sorry you can't see this, but where John is right now, he has a light over him.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. That's exactly what you need and all that. Of course, if you soften it up. But this is with diffuser. This is on a different level.
Even light in general, what I learned, and this saved me a lot for a lot of stuff like the Kai's thing that we're doing. And the poet. I just shot my 600 that LED that I have up to the ceiling just to get a nice spread.
Just for about
so. Here's a tip, filmmakers, especially indie filmmakers and college students. If you have like any light, bounce it to the sky. It's going to give you a nice spread.
Yes. Usually it's the best to have it like a very light surface.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to bounce.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to add a diffuser, like a type of diffuser that's supposed to let away from the harsh lighting.
Yeah. Just
and gives you a roundish look to a soft look, but also it goes around the hard edges, because in some cases, if you have a light that's directly towards your skin, you could see shines, hard shadows, and it cuts through. It makes it look like a jaggedy edge of shadow that's hitting on the side of your face and all that. While if you have like a diffuse light, it rolls off to the sides of your face, gives you a roundish look, and it's more soft, and it's less of the
harshness,
the harshness of like the whitish shine that you get off of your skin. It's very unflattering to the look. So I have to agree with that. That's really good.
And you learn. So you learn about cameras, and then you realize, shit, I need to know how to light now.
Yes.
So did you do another 6 months of research, or you did less time?
Yes. So I did do some research about lighting.
Okay.
The issue is, and this is like I said, it's a curse.
Yeah.
Where I research, but I don't do.
You don't follow through?
I don't do practical.
Okay.
So I do research. I learned a lot about lighting.
So you're all theory, no practice, really.
Yes, that's exactly. So I have a gift of knowledge. Yeah. That's the thing. I'm exactly what book smart would be.
Yeah. So like I said, all theory, no practice.
Yeah, and
I always tell you that you have to practice, no theory. Remember?
Yeah.
So that's okay. So you learn that. Then now your second shoot, I guess, after the whole you learn about lighting. Now you go on. Do you go back on sets? You go on set? What happened now?
Yeah. So then after that, I actually took a job.
Okay.
This is after Fremont and all.
Was this Chippendales?
Yes, this is when I actually got Chippendales.
I kind of just blew your fucking story on that, but
yeah, I was a dancer.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I never went to Chippendales, so I don't know if you actually did dance. You might have. I don't know you.
Well, you were there. No,
I was never there. I only go to Magic Mike. Or
there's a show on that.
Or OGs? Is it OGs? Is that the other one? That's
I'm not. No, it was like the Australian one.
Oh,
Thunder Down Under.
I always I say this as a joke, but I'm kind of serious at the same time. If I ever fail in anything, I'm gonna just get a 6-pack and be a Thunder from Down Under guy. Or
you gotta get the long hair too.
I don't need the long hair. I need to shave my head because I'm going bald. But
okay. Okay, so
Chippendales.
So I took a job. Well, it was before Chippendales.
Yeah.
I went for one of those audiovisual type of
So you
jobs.
weren't doing any set stuff just on the freelancer side?
Yeah, I was basically just I did a little bit of that. I did my own kind of thing actually.
So did you learn your own thing? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, so you were progressively getting obviously better.
That was getting better and better.
Yeah.
I do have some clips of that. It was all in 1080p and all that off of Canon camera.
Mm-hmm.
But I did some stuff with that. Also, I've been working as a visual, an audio-visual kind of.
Was that off the T3i,
roadie.
by the way? Sorry, I'm going to cut you.
Yes.
All right, and so you want to know a fun fact that I learned from someone?
Yes.
That 1080p was a lie.
No, it is. It's still 1080p. It's just the sensor within
It was a 720, so you're getting a little higher than a 720 or something like that. They said.
No, it's more like it's okay. It's H.264.
Well, yeah,
codec
but
inside
it's
of it.
not about the codec. It's about like what the sensor was giving it back to. It was like
Right.
It was just really technically an up-res 720. They said.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it was
never fully. It was never fuller HD.
Right,
it was like it was a lie. Whatever they tell you.
Yeah, but it was also they did that for another reason too. It's to get away from a major sharpness
Interesting.
defect that goes on with a lot of cameras. Like Panasonic is very known for one of them.
Okay.
Like the GH4, GH5, and all that. They have very sharpness.
Yeah, well, you can always turn down the sharpness too on the cameras.
But basically, Canon knew what the reason why they did that for their sensor is to get away from that sharpness, so that you can actually add your own sharpness to their looks, which gives it a certain look to it. And that's why there's a reason why those Canon cameras are actually doing really well. And yeah, it does look like 720-ish, P-ish and stuff. But once you put that sharpness on this, it actually makes it look 1080. Not a lot of people do it though.
Interesting.
They don't put sharpness on their Canon stuff.
I don't really touch the sharpness that much, to be honest.
Yeah, see, and that's why it looks like that in some ways.
I use the black magic now, so I don't.
Yeah. So you don't really need to care about that or anything like that. Yeah, you just shoot on the spot.
Yeah. And then okay, so sorry, going back to Chippendales.
Yeah. So basically, I when I did the audio visual job, I basically like moved stuff, like make stages and stuff like that. During that job, I worked as an audio technician for Chippendales. Which is to show off Rio, and basically with the naked dudes and all that, and with the chicks everywhere. That was like,
Did you ever think about second guessing yourself and going, I should just do this instead?
Like
honest.
No.
Like, shit, maybe I should be a Chippendales dancer.
I'll be honest, dude. Those guys are stupid as fuck.
No, you could be the smart one.
No.
Brains and beauty.
Okay. Oh, he reversed that, guys.
See what I did?
Yeah. When I did a lot of the audio, and actually that made me become like an audio kind of guy again.
Yeah.
Because I had a boss that talked a lot about the audio.
So did you kind of did anything repress where it's like, I'm not going to really focus on video anymore, I'm going to just stay with audio again? Like,
no, I still want to film. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I was just wondering because
No, you're fine. Yeah. No, I'm just saying no, it's gone. The audio's gone, dude.
I'm a full-time fucking filmmaker.
Yeah, it left.
It left alone.
It fucking walked out of my brain.
It moonwalked the fuck out of here.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, the minute like I went into the audio field for that, I never left me. The audio itself never left me.
Yeah.
It was definitely like one of those moments where I was just like, this is like hardwired in my brain. Like I'm messing with faders, I'm doing like all this stuff and all that, and it was just and I was just like, wow, I'm not losing anything of my of what I know about this stuff and all that. Now it was a very easy job though.
Yeah.
Even a monkey can do it, I can be honest.
Well, that's a nice plus at least. So you're not like doing anything technically crazy.
Here's what I did. I don't know if I'll get in trouble if Rio ever finds out about this. But I don't give a fuck.
Well, let's not talk about it then if you don't want to get in trouble about it.
Okay.
All right, we'll just skip that. Whatever.
Well, I was gonna tell my routine.
Oh well, then no, I think that's fine. Then don't tell your routine. I'm kind of curious.
Okay. So basically, what the whole gist of it is that everything's already set up. There's already a set show.
You don't work there anymore, so you can tell it. Yeah.
There's already a set show made. It was made by this thing called Q set or Q show set.
Okay.
Something like that. It's a Mac program. But basically, it's already set with like certain cues and music and all that with the show's name.
So they're really. Why were you complaining about that earlier?
Well, no, because this is their process.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But basically, my routine usually whenever I came into work was I turn on, I replace microphone batteries.
Okay.
I turn on power amps.
Okay.
I turn on the mixer.
Boom.
There's already set fader on the faders of the mixer that we use. There's already set volumes of where everything needs to be at.
Easy.
And then there was a list that I had to write down of like what I should do, and you just keep pressing spacebar to play each part of the show.
That's pretty easy. That's pretty
Yeah.
simple, and at least you know what, it doesn't stress you out too.
Yeah,
So-
and so I'm there for 4 hours.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, 5 hours.
Yeah.
That process only takes 30 minutes
Wow.
to do all of what I just told you. It only takes 30 minutes. The rest of the time,
You're just sitting back
Sitting
and
there.
relaxing, just pressing spacebar.
I'm just sitting there
Oh.
until the show starts.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
And the last 2 hours is when I actually do all that.
Did you at
stuff.
least have a burger in between time?
Oh yeah. We there's like an SDR that,
cool.
that we go, and then
Yeah.
we just eat there, and then we come back, and then
Cool.
I just sit there the whole time on my phone.
Nice.
It was a very laid back thing, and it was really good. I got paid $27 an hour for that.
Not too shabby, happy.
Yeah, that was a really good pay.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was like my first really really good job.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, everything didn't work out from there. Yeah, like after like 2 years of being there, I got laid off. But
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. And that was during one of the sets of Murder for Dummies.
Yes,
when
that was-
happened.
yeah, I
that
mean,
was
yeah.
depressing as hell.
That was a really sad day, actually, because we all felt bad for you. Because you're like,
Yeah.
I gotta leave. I quit. I got fired. We're like, oh shit. We're really, like, damn. Like,
yeah,
Jesus
it was that was unexpected.
now, okay. So you did. Okay, so you did that, and then now between Murder for Dummies to, from between Chippendales and Murder for Dummies, did you do anything else?
Yes, I was still doing my own films.
Yeah?
Like my else, I did before Murder for Dummies.
Mm-hmm.
I actually filmed what I was planning to create, and I'm still planning to create it.
Mm-hmm.
A trailer for Where It Lies.
Yes.
It's basically a trailer about like an entity, and I already told. I already got a gist of the script.
Yeah.
And I told it to you.
Yeah,
and,
but I don't think
and
our
another
viewers
version.
know it. So if you want to tell them
Yeah.
a short plot line or synopsis, real quick.
It's all about I'll let you know. It's all about the characters.
Okay.
Really. It's almost like a thriller more than a horror film.
Okay,
Now
so
that I think about it.
Is it like psychological thriller? You
Yeah,
said
it's a
like
very psychological. It's very psychological based on the area it's within. Basically, it's about. Well, I'll try to be as brief as I could be
Yeah.
about it. Basically, there are 3 guys. They all have 3 different perspectives of the
Yep.
whole situation, and when you take all 3 of those perspectives together, and it makes the whole movie basically.
Cool.
But it's basically an entity that took a childhood friend away in a disappearance when they were all children, and basically they face this entity later on as adults head on to get closure about a certain thing.
So does it kind of have an It vibe a little bit?
It's not exactly like it at all.
Oh, well, I'm not saying like it
It
the
has
vibe.
elements of it, yeah,
Yeah.
Like of course the childhood thing,
Yeah, that's what I'm
and then
talking about.
the comeback of
Yeah,
like the adults, yeah,
Cool.
But if anything, what I can really associate it with closely to is kind of like the Blair Witch Project kind
Okay.
of feel.
Yeah. There's I'm gonna try to put the trailer in the description, folks, for where it lies. Right?
Yes.
Sorry if but I want.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, but I'm gonna put the trailer. It's really good, guys. It's really fascinating. I really hope Mark makes it one day. To be honest.
Yeah, because I told him in great detail what it's really about, even like the ending and everything.
Yeah, everything is really good about the idea, and hopefully one day we'll be able to make it. It would
Yeah.
be really fun to make.
I told him I want him to be my DP for that.
Yes, he does.
Yes,
He does. So
That
okay,
way.
so we get to Where It Lies,
yes.
and then now, okay, so how I got Mark on Murder for Dummies. So I called him up because we need a sound guy, and Mark's a sound guy, obviously. So got him on set, and he did a sound for us on Murder for Dummies.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, now how did you get into coloring again? Now tell us that story, because that's how it's a very
Yeah, so
fascinating.
this is the base. Yeah,
This
so
is
let's
where-
go to the main one. So we were doing Murder for Dummies. I was doing sound. I messed up on a few of them, but
Yeah.
there was some really good ones that we did too.
Yeah.
with the when I did it. But basically, when we finished the sound part about everything, there was like a 6 to 8 month like in the dead
I'm not doing
time between Murder for Dummies
Yeah.
and then the
post production.
editing.
Yeah, well, that was a long time because we wrapped I think in November maybe.
Yes, yeah.
But I think we did some pickup shots and like
It was funny because I came in as a replacement for a guy.
yeah, because I think the guy's name was
The original
Johnny.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't make it. Oh, you know why? Because we used him for the first few weeks. I think. Oh, man, my mind's kind of blanking on
I
this.
kind of became the official like.
You gave me the second. You became like the other guy of the sound guys.
Yeah.
I think it was more pickup. I'm like blanking out. When did we do those?
I don't remember. All I know is that I became the replacement basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
You know
I
what?
did
It was
everything else.
Week
yeah.
1 he could make it, but week 2 I think you had it. You were doing it, and then you became everything else after that. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
used you. So
So
yeah,
I became like the main guy all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird, not a weird thing, but like we tried to film it in 2 weeks, and then we had to do pickup shots and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
That was some long shoot days too. Holy.
Oh yeah, they were really long.
Wait, I'm gonna get Brian and Alfredo on the podcast, or just them separately, most likely.
Yeah, talk about Murder for Dummies.
Yeah, and
Dude,
Kelly
that'd be
too. I'm gonna
great,
get them
yeah.
all 3 on this podcast.
You better put that as live stream if any, or like
I'm gonna do
recorded,
that.
yeah.
We're gonna record that one, but
like a video one. Too.
oh, it's gonna be funny because we have stories, man. I don't know. Do you remember the story I told?
You told me a few of them. Yeah,
Yeah, the one where I had
haven't
shit
heard
really
all
badly.
of them.
Didn't one where
Yeah, I think you did tell me about
yeah,
that one.
and that was actually at the premiere too. I think we talked about that too.
I do remember that one.
So I'm gonna tell the story now. I'll probably tell it again because it's a funny one. But so I know this podcast is all about Mark, but I think we have to tell the story.
Okay, go ahead.
So during the first week of Murder for Dummies, we had a midnight shoot, I think, and basically what happened was we start at 12. So hey, you want anything? You want coffee? I'm like, I'll drink coffee. I'll get hot chocolate. So I like a hot chocolate. I mean, keep me up. You know, it's
So
cold.
bad, by the way.
So it is bad, and don't have it past 12 o'clock because my
Yes.
fucking stomach was going curdled. So we're shooting at this train tracks in the middle of nowhere, and you know we're only supposed to shoot only for a few hours, not for like till 4 a.m. And so I'm trying like around 2 o'clock, my stomach starts going like, oh. I'm like, oh, this is not good. It's not. Oh, actually, it's around 3 o'clock. So I'm trying to hurry everyone up because one, we're gonna start losing light around 4:30, maybe 4 or 5. The sun's gonna start coming up, and I'm like, we don't want that to happen. And then on top of that, I had to shit really badly. I had to like, it was like starting to come, and I know it's like one of those things where you have to like shit, and it's slowly creeping up on you, where you have like about this is the amount of time I have left. I have to get this all done. I can rush home. And so basically, I'm trying to hurry their asses up because I'm like, guys, they're using the excuse of, guys, the sun's gonna come up soon, which it's true too. And so, as soon as that's done, I rush out like a bat out of hell, and I go home and take the gnarliest shit of my life. And that's the story. I'll tell more detail probably about it on another episode. But that's the gist of that story right there. So okay,
there's juicy other stuff, including like the other people like going, "You okay?"
Yeah, everyone, and no one knew about that actually until like I told them about the date a week before the premiere. I never told them that story. So, so anyways, we do Murder for Dummies. We have that long period of trying, because the thing was they were trying to find someone to edit the film.
Yeah, so I didn't know anything about that. That was the funniest thing because I was in the dark for a while.
Well, yeah.
But because they were doing their other stuff for it, yeah.
We were just trying to find we had an editor.
So they had an editor.
Didn't work out, and then they found another editor.
They had to end up editing themselves, or Brian did.
Yeah, because they found another editor, and he did like a few things, and then what happened was like I think Brian had to I didn't really want to edit the film, to be honest, because I just didn't want
just keep in mind, guys, I know that we're like talking about like some negative things about like what happened at Murder for Dummies.
I mean, it's not negative. It's more about their experience.
It's in some cases it was a little bit. It sounds a little bit negative, but if anything, dude, this movie was pretty fun.
We had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making it.
It's definitely a pretty good movie too.
It's a really good movie, I'm gonna say. How's that? And we're trying to make it a feature right now. We're working on getting funding for a feature film.
Yeah,
of it,
because I mean, there's some quirks, of course, but but it's definitely one of the I would say we're proud of that film.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that.
We're very
That's-
proud of like what we
Yeah.
helped make. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It's one of those films. Yeah.
it's honestly some of the shots in that film that I did. I'm very happy with. Remember, you asked me. I think you asked me right about if anything I regret in filmmaking or anything I like feel accomplished about. That movie I feel really accomplished about.
I have to put that as one of my
Yeah.
successfuls.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have many successes. I don't have many failures.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
neither.
it's just in general. I feel very happy about that movie overall.
Yeah.
You tell me, like, I can tell you what shots I like the best. I like them all.
I think that's why we're talking about it mostly, and then not the other stuff, because it's definitely
It's the memorable stuff that you know it too, and plus it's also your first film that you color graded after learning Da Vinci, right? So I kind of spoiled the surprise, but like explain what made you get into that. We're getting off tangents, but like again, we had that layoff of not really doing anything with Murph for Dummies.
Yeah.
And weren't you learning
that time period?
Talk about that.
That time period when they were looking for an editor, I actually told John, and I was like, this was funny because I was like looking at a lot of films during that time because I felt like what we did at Murder for Dummies was exactly something I cherished, and that was fun, and I was like, I wanted more.
Yeah.
And I watched a lot of movies that were based on like heavily in color.
Yeah.
And I've noticed them, and especially like, and it's also Man of Steel as well. Man, when I saw Man of Steel, I saw it was lacking color.
Yeah, it
a
was.
lot.
Have you ever seen that science video with the color? Okay.
Yeah. And basically, that's actually the video that actually got me to think about it.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah. So,
So The Matrix and that. In reality.
So the Man of Steel, the color science one that
Yeah.
they released, where they added the color for Man of Steel and how it changes emotion. That was actually what kind of triggered me to like look into color more, especially when it came to also when I watched The Matrix over again.
Yeah.
And I was just like thinking to myself, like this is interesting. I never thought about this for a minute.
Yeah.
And then when I saw The Matrix again, that's when it's triggered, and I was like, I text John.
Yeah.
Randomly.
Was it a text or a call?
No, it was a text.
Okay, it was a text.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
I text him and I go, I text you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh man, like this, I got an itch. I got like send this to him, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm gonna be a colorist.
What was my response? Do you remember? I'm sorry.
I was like, oh, cool.
yeah. I have.
Like, what a fucking dick fucking text.
I don't mean to be a dick about it, but at the same time, I have so much shit going on. Like, I can't remember. Again, I'm going to talk about this. Again, we're going back to that whole passion thing. Mark remembering certain moments in your life, you remember them, you have very high passion for it. That's another moment in his life that he's very passionate about.
Yeah.
Again, that's what makes him very awesome to be that's what makes you a great filmmaker. Not a great filmmaker, I should say. Just a passionate filmmaker who's excited about his craft and loves his craft, I should say.
Yeah.
So, and that's Mark. He remembers The Matrix, right? You remember Man of Steel's the color thing. You remember the text that you sent me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You remember my response.
Oh yeah,
Think about
I
that.
remember my first.
You know what I mean? You remember every step that led.
my first beer.
Okay, Will Ferrell, calm down. But no, like think about it. I don't remember that. You know what I mean? I don't like.
Really, you don't remember like your first time that you pick up a camera and you?
No, I remember that. I'm saying, like, but I'm saying for you, like, I don't remember our conversation though. I'm saying that's what I'm trying to get. Like, not that I'm trying to be rude about it.
Oh yeah, you did say okay, cool.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it was. You know what I mean? Like he remembers that.
I took that and I was like, okay, cool. Okay, I had that little moment from like Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Where he's like, okay, fuck. I had that whole entire fucking thing in my mind. I was like, okay, cool. Okay, this motherfucker.
So, yeah, it's these moments. It's like those little moments that people will remember that will recall their driving passion for something. I think too.
Right. Yeah, and after that, I actually found a class. My friend.
By the way, about the okay cool thing, who's the one who got you to be a colorist on Murder for Dummies, asshole?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
fair enough,
cool.
Fair enough. Okay.
I remembered.
So after that, I had a friend I met a long time ago during one of my own film my own film days, which I kind of miss doing all that stuff now. I think about it. We're thinking about doing it though.
Yeah.
Skits.
Yeah.
Like it. But basically, he told me that there was this website with this guy named Denver Riddle.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and Denver Riddle did a lot of stuff with Nike, Fortune 5,000 companies.
500, I think.
500 companies. Sorry.
It's okay.
But he did a lot of stuff for a lot of commercials and stuff. And basically, he had this thing called Color Grading Central.
Yes.
Yeah, which is actually pretty famous now. Apparently,
It's famous.
It's all over the internet.
You know
kinda
what's
thing.
funny? It's funny that you say Denver Riddle because that's how I got into I knew about Da Vinci.
Yeah.
But I found his videos on YouTube.
Yeah, he's very famous for
Yeah.
his color grading and
Especially that Da Vinci 9 where he's like, okay guys, now I'm going to show you this with the pad. And he has
and he's like one of the greatest teachers I've ever seen.
Yeah,
in that category.
he has a really good he explains really well.
Yeah,
from the videos
very
I saw.
detailed too.
Very detailed.
And it's exactly how I look at things.
Yeah.
Like it's exactly like because I look everything in structure.
Yeah.
Like I look at everything like individually in structure, and if I don't understand like the smallest thing
Mm-hmm.
too, like because I don't even leave out the smallest things about
Yeah.
things. There are times where a lot of people like to learn stuff.
Yeah.
But they take out the most smallest
Yeah.
details and they push it aside because they don't feel like it's very important in some ways.
Understandable. Now, question here, side tangent again. So, would you remember that in school when you had that one assignment where it was like, hey, describe how you make or tell the instructions of how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Okay.
Were you that guy who would go really into detail? First,
could be.
You could be. So
I
okay.
could be,
So you would be
yes.
that guy who's like, first you walk to the kitchen.
Like
Then
I
you
would
open-
put step by step instructions. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
funny. Okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
I
Mark.
could be that person. Yes, yeah. So basically, yeah, if you tell me something like in small detail, but
Yeah.
push it aside for a little bit,
Yeah.
I will go out of my way to actually learn everything about that small detail.
Interesting.
Just so that I know it, and I think that's why I'm very knowledgeable about
Yeah.
like cameras
And
and
you're very
stuff like that.
detail oriented too.
Yeah, I just love details because if I know that details, I can go back
Mm.
to whatever construction. In this case, like in audio, it's called signal flow
Yeah.
for like a lot of stuff. I can actually go from the beginning source and move up to see what's the cause of a problem, for instance.
Interesting.
So, and that's how I always look at it. So if I know the details of something, I could go back to go, well, this does this, and I could
Yeah.
be like, oh, that's the source of the problem, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like you're going through theory, but
Yeah.
you understand that theory to a point where
Yeah.
you can pinpoint an issue
Yeah.
really quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when I saw how he does it, he explains it in very detail like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With coloring, and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to do this. So I went into he had this special class where basically it's a live stream class
Mm-hmm.
where he basically have like a group of people come into this live stream with invitations, and
Yeah.
it's only a limited amount of invitations, and I got really in pretty
Yeah.
quickly. I went through that, and he actually offered a full course on DaVinci Resolve
Wow.
for DaVinci Resolve 13, I believe.
Yeah.
At the time. And basically, when he did DaVinci Resolve 13, he offered it as monthly payments and all that. It was a total of about I believe it's $1,300 altogether for the whole thing, which is
too bad.
not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, and it was like it was supposed to be like a 4-week course.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yes, I remember you doing. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, memory serves me correct. You were still doing those classes while
we were doing
coloring Murph for Dummies.
Yes.
Now, Mark probably came into Murph for Dummies around May for the post.
October.
No. I'm talking about post production.
Oh yeah.
Was it late April, early May?
Yeah.
Because we. Funny memories. I remember we had a due date by like June.
Oh my god,
So-
dude. Let's not go
Let's
there.
not go there. But also Mark shot himself in the foot because I like to bring this up because Mark did this to himself, and I told him
No.
he learned a valuable lesson. Let's just say, never
Don't tell him,
overextend yourself. That's all I'm gonna say. He did the audio and he did the color grading, which the thing was, to bless Mark's heart, he had to come to my place at nighttime after
Work,
after
everything.
his job also, or after my job if he was off, and after everything he had to do, and color grade And color grading is a very tedious process, and
It's
you're
incredibly tedious.
like, and especially for a film.
Audio's worse though.
Well, let's not get there first. But basically, like, Mark, would you be at my house for what, 2 or 3 hours, let's say, a day?
3 or 4 hours.
3 or 4
actually.
hours, maybe.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, a 45-minute film, and like he had to do it in groups and stuff like that. And also, the problem was like, not everything was shot on the same day. This, that, and the other thing. So we had to color correct and really detail.
Oh, right.
To match everything
That's
as well.
True. On
So-
top of that, so a lot of the scenes that were
Yeah.
done in this film are in different time schedules
Yeah.
and different like lighting.
Yeah.
Different like there's differences in lighting.
Which was hard because at the same time when we were filming that, we had either those were reshoots or we had another
yeah,
day. And
so it's extra work. It's
Yeah.
like extra. A few steps actually
Yeah, so-
into the process, and it's it makes it more it makes it longer than it was.
how long did that
And-
take you to the color grade that whole thing? 3 weeks, right? Or something like that, or a whole month almost?
Almost a month. Yeah.
Almost a month to do that, and then on
And, but
top,
that's almost a month, as in also breaking up.
Yeah.
The thing is, if this was a full time thing,
Yeah.
and say if I had all the all the time, it would probably only take me like probably a true 4 to 5 days.
wow,
As a dedicated
for a short
colorist.
film or for a full
For this whole thing, for this 45
Okay, so if
minute
it was
one.
a feature, then it'd probably take you like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
I would finish the coloring. It really.
If someone gave you
And add flawless, no problems too.
now, question: if someone gave you 3 weeks, you could really fucking fine tune that shit, right?
Yes, but here's the issue.
What's the issue?
I had to drive. I had a job.
Yeah, he worked.
So basically, it's broken up into increments of hours.
Yeah,
Basically.
and on top of that too, like, Mark would get there. He's also a little tired, so
Yeah,
it's
also
think about,
the equipment we have is very is very bare
older,
minimum.
yeah.
Yeah, if
so
anything.
I didn't have. Still
We
don't.
didn't have controllers.
We don't have
didn't
controllers. We don't have all that shit, and like also my computer's a little older.
And we
as
didn't
well.
have proper lighting for
Yeah.
the coloring
So,
capabilities.
I mean, those are little like short. Those are short.
those are for like and
But
those are
it's-
for like professional coloring
and we're not
studios.
professionals, but at the same we are professionals, but at the same time we don't have the professional
Yeah,
facilities.
we
to
have
do
the
it.
skills basically.
Yeah,
yeah,
and on top, and you know what too, and plus on top of that too, Mark would get off at 9:30. He has to drive all the way to Henderson.
yeah,
which is when I used to live in Henderson.
yeah.
like
and I work far. I work in Summerlin.
He worked in Summerlin,
Yeah.
so that was like a 30-minute drive on top of that. So
Yeah.
then when he got done with the color, he had to go straight to the audio.
Yep. And then that's where I shot myself in the foot.
That's where he shot yourself in the foot. But he learned, because what did I tell you, Mark?
I will never take 2 jobs at once. That's for sure.
With not enough time.
With not enough time. I seriously took that job and was like, oh, well, just to let you know, we only have 2 months left in the fucking.
Yeah, it's like June 21st is when we're airing it.
Okay, so here's what. So I don't know if we should continue, or should we tell the story at another podcast?
we can. No, we're talking about you, man. It's all about you today. So
No, I mean,
yeah.
because that's a Murder for Dummies kind
Well,
of.
yeah, we
thing.
can talk. Well, I'll talk about Kelly, Brian, Alfredo about that too, from their side. So like, it's your
Okay,
side of
so
the
it's my
story.
perspective on this case. There was some tension. I'll tell you that for
Yeah,
sure.
there was tension.
There was
but
a lot of tension going on, but you know
It
what?
was a very stressful time. I mean,
Yeah,
as we're
because
trying to get something
we're
done.
all just trying to make this work.
Yeah,
that's
and
the
we
thing.
all had a hard set date too for it.
Yeah,
which we all learned. Which I mean, I knew this already, but
yeah, that's true. You didn't know it.
I was trying to tell them we all had a set date.
You were telling us about it for
Yeah.
a long time, and
no
we
one
just
see the thing is no one listens to me, and then when they finally like realize
when it's at the last
yeah,
minute,
and then they're like, oh shit, he was right.
yeah.
Like, you know what?
I think it's because we had like hope.
yeah,
in some
but
cases.
I'm also
blinded hope.
I'm also a fucking pessimist.
Yeah.
and I'm like Larry David, so I'm a realist too.
Yeah.
So and I know things like I'm
Yeah.
just thinking like
for
oversell. What was it? Undersell, not undersell. Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all
yeah,
about.
and that's terrible practices in some cases.
Yeah.
So what happened was when we were doing Murder for Dummies, and this is when, because I was also finishing coloring at
Yeah.
this point, I officially finished it right in the middle of Murder for Dummies,
Yeah.
like the
did, I
coloring
remember that, yeah.
process. Yeah. which I was already ready. And
Yeah.
you know what? Between week 3 of my actual classes
Yeah.
for it, I was already considered. I was confident enough to say I can do
Yeah.
stuff like this already. And the minute we went through it, they loved what I was doing.
Yeah, it was great stuff.
And the shit that I learned in that 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think it impressed you guys a little bit.
No, it really did because it
Because
showed.
you were looking at all the tools I was working at. You
Yeah.
guys are just like, whoa, what the hell is he doing?
See, I do basic stuff in DaVinci. I don't really go hardcore into it, but like just seeing someone do the things that are that you don't see in color, but also the things that you don't know how to use.
Yeah.
It just really it's like mind like, whoa, shit, no, that's what you do with that. Oh my god, like it was just really cool to see you also use the skills that you're learning into Murder for Dummies, into coloring that movie.
Yeah, it was also a learning process too. On top of that, it was very
great experience. If you think about it, it was great. So
because I had to be on the fly too. On top of that,
Yep.
And what's crazier about that is like when using my tools, like the biggest tools that I use when coloring, because there are tools that a lot of you filmmakers do not usually use in your color correcting and color grading process, and there are some tools that you don't even know. Like for one, a lot that's used is basically the color selector.
yeah,
A color selector is an individual way of.
Is that the picker or is that something different?
It's kind of it's what you could call the picker.
Okay.
It's the one where you could take like the colors of a certain skin tone, for instance. You can click here's a good example. For instance, you can with the color selector you can actually pick out the color of like the skin tone of whoever you have.
Oh yeah, that one. Yes.
And basically it can highlight all of that and just isolate everything to that color, which means that you can manipulate it. And of course if you soften the mask, because it's going to turn into like a type of mask, which just affects that certain color. Basically, you can manipulate that color in any way you want. And then, of course, and then there's also scopes. Not many people use scopes.
Yeah.
And not many people know how to read scopes either.
I don't.
But scopes is what makes you get the most accurate colors possible. And then another thing is this will be probably the last one. But basically, there are powerful tools in Resolve that were very interesting when I first worked on them, and those are the verses stuff. The verses.
Like the hue versus
yeah.
lumens?
There's hue versus hue versus saturation, saturation versus luminescence, and stuff like that. And what's those tools are extremely powerful. They're basically like curves, like the curves that you see on like one of your color correction things. They're kind of like curves, but they're in a different spectrum.
Interesting.
And it's supposed to be the biggest thing about them is that they're very isolated versions of the curves, like individually meant for each color.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very powerful tool. When I first used it, I was like, whoa, I've never seen anything like this before. It's definitely a game changer. Yeah. And Resolve was the only one that had it. Now Final Cut has one.
Yeah, they do. The 10.4 has that now.
Yeah, because they really updated Final Cut Pro.
They
10,
did.
Yeah.
I have seen it.
It's become one of the best I've ever seen.
Wow.
For Final Cut Pro 10. So bravo to Apple.
I don't like Lumetri though. I have to tell you this. I don't like that Lumetri color panel at all in Premiere.
In Premiere, yes.
Yeah.
I have to agree. I'm not really a fan of it either. If anything, I would just use a DaVinci or I would just use like the Magic Bullets stuff on there if I wanted to do, because you can't get color finale on fucking Premiere.
And you can't get color finale anymore right now because I don't think they have an update for it.
Wow, interesting.
Because I think
until they finally update.
Well, they have to, because
they're probably
10.4.1 or whatever it is. That's different.
Denver Riddle's going to come up.
Yeah, well, it's going to take some time because they just did a whole new color thing as well with that too.
So I guess on the PC side, because you can only use Premiere on PC now at this point. Mm-hmm. As being the best one, you know.
Well, you still have Magic Bullets for PC as well, then.
Yeah, that's Magic Bullets. That's the one that I would really go for.
Or not Magic Bullet, Colorista, you mean, right? Because Magic Bullets is more of a grading tool. Colorista is color correction.
I guess a combination of the two.
Yeah.
But if you're on Final Cut Pro, they have awesome color correction and color grading plugins on there already.
Yeah.
But if you really want the one that's definitely going to game changer for it, it's definitely
DaVinci.
Color Finale.
Oh, Color Finale. But
On Final Cut.
on Final Cut, yeah.
Yeah, but if you want the ultimate, it's definitely still Resolve.
You know, I'm not. I don't know about you, but whenever I do color in Premiere or do my basic shit, I'm not doing marks like level status stuff. Whenever I love the look I get from DaVinci, then I love the look I get in Final Cut.
Because
but that look in Premiere just sucks every time. I feel like I can't get a good color.
I seen that too.
Yeah. It's
also depending on the codec too, but
well, not just. I mean, I've done the same thing in the same codecs, and it like apples to like oranges to bananas.
Okay.
Me.
Yeah, it could be just something that Premiere has in their software or something like that. They're known to have some certain quirks to their things.
That's true.
Besides that, getting back to Murder for Dummies.
Yeah.
So I shot myself in the foot, basically. I end up doing color and audio.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I did color first.
Yeah.
What's crazy about the color when I did it in front of like the whole group, they were in awe the whole time. They were like, "Whoa, what is he doing?" He's like, "Whoa, this is cool!" And then they got all excited, and then eventually got like almost like a regular thing. Like they started like. Then they started watching movies and stuff and all that, and basically it was starting to become like a second nature at that point. And once I finished it, oh man, that was a long session.
That was a long session.
Because the thing is in coloring, you're coloring based on scenes.
Yeah.
And also the edit for Resolve, because we didn't know how to do the proper way of doing the Resolve transfer.
The workflow and all that stuff.
Yeah, because now John and I have a better
understanding
and a better workflow for it now.
Yeah,
because we actually I actually was taught a certain way now for that, and it's going to work better for
especially when you're doing it for your first time, like in a sense where like you just learn this shit. And I don't use it enough where I do it all the time. Mm-hmm. So, and especially when also, too, the problem was I could do it in Premiere correctly, but in Final Cut I always had a problem. And the thing was, like, I'm not knocking Final Cut. There's a few things about Final Cut X that I don't like, Final Cut 10. But, like, also the project was made in Final Cut X.
Yeah.
And if we ever did when we do Murder for Dummies, just say, as a feature, we're going to use Premiere.
Yes.
Well, whoever edits, I'm not editing. Whoever's editing is probably going to use Premiere.
And of course, whoever I'm working with for that editing, for coloring, I'm definitely going to talk to them about a workflow that's a lot better for that.
We will all get that under wraps, especially in pre-production.
But basically, so it was a very sloppy session, basically.
Yeah.
When it went into Resolve.
Yeah.
Because it was because we didn't know the proper variables of how to import it properly.
Yeah.
But when I went through that, I had to go through a lot of clips and more clips than I thought I should.
Yeah.
But basically, the longest part of it was still color correction.
Yeah.
So color correction is the hardest part of coloring. Mm-hmm. And it's the most time consuming because in most cases, if you're not sure about your coloring right on the source itself, and this is going to happen to a lot of people because when they have like these nice cameras like the Blackmagic Ursa Mini or the any Red camera, and they're all off log. Yeah. And here's the thing, log is a very flat profile.
Yes.
It's a code that's supposed to give you like the most flattest look ever. It is also the best way to get the best color off of it. The problem is when you're using log, you don't have like a monitor or anything that gives you a LUT, like a post LUT. Yeah, that's supposed to give you what it will possibly look like.
If we had that would have been very helpful for you.
Yes, definitely, because.
Also, sorry to cut you off, but also like you're talking about those cameras too. Like, there's a difference though, because if you're shooting raw with a red or a Blackmagic, if you have the storage,
there's definitely a difference.
There's a difference because at least you would manipulate those things as well too.
But the thing is, the biggest thing that a lot of people will notice when they have these cameras is that log is flat. You can't tell what's the color temperature.
Yeah, that's true.
When you're looking at a log image, because it's completely gray. Yeah, well, I mean, like in most cases, it's pretty completely gray, and you have most of the time you have the smallest screen ever.
Yeah,
and you can't see shit.
That's true.
The thing is, like, that's why it's always best to get like a monitor of some type, like a small HD monitor that's able to give you like a LUT to go over the log to make it so you can see the color in some way. Or like Atomos one that has HDR, and I still recommend the HDR one. Yeah, because the Atom HDR in the Atomos stuff is gives you the most proper exposure. Possibly because HDR actually gives you the full amount of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but anyway, besides that,
correction you're talking about.
Yeah. Basically, when you're working with log stuff and all that, and that's the thing with Murder for Dummies, we were kind of doing a sort of log look to it. It's not perfect log, but it's up enough for your camera to get into at least.
You mean? Oh no, I filmed the dynamic range with the log.
Yeah. And but it's not the most powerful log. I think the Ursa Mini has a better one. I think.
Well, yeah. Also, the sensor's different on those cameras too. So the camera I own,
because you have an APS-C.
That's not the sensor. I'm talking about the dynamic range on the camera too.
It's 13 stops, right?
No, it's 12. I think on that camera.
Oh,
12,
there you go.
might be right. It might be 13, but at the same time, that camera in like certain, there's a lot of things with that camera. There's an older sensor. The Ursa Mini has a newer sensor, not just with dynamic range, but color signs too.
Yeah. Okay. So it's different. Okay. So yeah, and I think that's what kind of makes it a little bit harder for us colorists, because it's the fact that like when we're working with like log footage, it's like we have to guess sometimes, and
also I'm gonna blame myself a little bit too. Sorry to cut you again, but also because the color temperature is a bitch to also get to as well, especially when you're not shooting in RAW because you're raw.
Oh, you mean with the Blackmagic interface?
Okay. Yeah, because in general too, like if I'm Murder for Dummies, if we did like I try to keep it like consistent with my color temperatures at least, but I couldn't keep it always consistent because at the same time, again, like you said, we shot at different times too. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember what I shot.
On top of that,
So I don't we shot something like 6 days, like 3 months ago. I'm like, I don't remember what I shot. If I shot 5600 or 5400, even though it's not like very minimal increments.
Yeah.
But also, I was getting with the color temperature. It's just a pain in the butt cheeks because if you're looking at it in log form, you don't know. It's easy.
You have no clue.
And if you screw it up, it's log first of all, and it's also a ProRes file, so it's not that raw file that we would.
And it's not the end of the world either. It's not. If anything, it's still great. Like log is still amazing. Like you could mess up on a lot of fronts, especially since we were recording in ProRes. Yeah, it's not like you're clipping everything badly.
Oh yeah,
and all that, because even if you mess up on some things, it can be fixed. The problem is. What made it longer for me to do the process of coloring for this film was because there were so many variables of differences in every single clip, and in terms of like exposure, color, and all that, and I had to fix everything about it, and I did. It took a very long time. Though. It took longer than it should. That's the thing, and on top of that, I'm still learning. When at that moment, but at the final stages, I started getting a more of a pattern and start getting into the groove.
You did get into rhythm at the end, towards the end when you were in that last few
like
groups.
getting a lot faster. Because I started realizing there's patterns and stuff like that. That I started understanding a little bit more.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But after when I finally finished that, I had to do grading after that.
Yeah, which was fat. You did that at like record time.
Yeah, that was. It took a little bit still, but it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't like the color correction.
Yeah, that was definitely the color correction is the longest process in my opinion. That's the longest process. The grading is definitely not the longest, because in most cases, what color correction. So if you guys don't know, there's a difference between color correction and color grading.
Yeah.
Correction is the actual correcting of every single color to make it look like the naturalistic of how you saw it from the camera and from your eyes yourself. Grading is the actual looks.
Gotcha.
The look of the actual film overall.
Yeah.
So the grading process, when you finish with all your color correction, basically they're all in the same color variants at that point. Like they all should look.
They're even.
Yeah, even. So when you can put things in groups at that point, which that was my process. Where, but in this case, there was many different. There was night scenes. There was exterior night scenes, and interior scenes, and also daylight scenes. The thing is, like, I had to separate the groups for each grading. Yeah. Because, but I had to put it in the same grading fields of like the color values in between them. Yeah. Because there's usually like I don't know if you ever seen like a color palette or like of the whole entire movies.
I think so.
It's like a final color palette. Like for instance, Mad Max is all in orange. Yeah. Orange and blue. Yeah. Most of the time, and there's like these little moments where there's gray. Yeah. On some parts, but basically, I had to put in the full color palette of what I was gonna do for it, and eventually we got to it. There were some parts, I finally finished the whole thing though. Yeah. And there are some parts where I overdid it in some of the skin tones and stuff like that. I've noticed it when we were watching on the big screen because we ended up watching it in big screen. Yeah, we did. We watched it Millennium Fandom Bar. Yeah, and we also watched it at the Eclipse. Yes. Oh, I missed that one. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, and when I watched that, oh my God, by the way. I think I'll talk to you later about it, but there was a moment where Kelly gave me this look because I messed up on one part. Sound wise or sound wise? Oh well, again, you shot yourself in the foot on that, so it's all good. You know what? Like I said, you live and learn, and that was the thing was the worst part about that. It wouldn't have been that bad, but that day you called me going, it crashed. Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, so basically, when I finished the overall coloring part of it, that was there was some issues with some of the things. Now they were still okay with it. Yeah, it still looked good and everything. Yeah, I think it looked great. I think it came out wonderful. But if anything, like that's when I always tell some people, like, if you can get a calibrator for like your screens. Yeah. If you can, if you're going to be a first time colorist. Yeah. Calibrate your screens. There are pretty cheap calibrators out there. They're like $60 ones. They're not the best ones, but man, they will make a huge difference in your coloring. Interesting. The thing is, when I was working on John's Mac, I think there was some inaccuracies in some of the colors. Also, that Mac is like a 2011. Yeah, on top. Yeah, that too. Doesn't help. Yeah. So I was limited to what I can do with it. If I was on a color grading monitor, it would look amazing. Definitely, like will look even better than what we had it look. But just to understand that if you feel like you haven't done that well, it's not because of your skill. It's just sometimes the monitors that you deal with, you can't do anything about it. Yeah. And do it what's best for what you can see it for. And what we came up with still looked great. Yeah. So yeah, if anything. Sadly, we can't show you that movie. I would love to. Yeah. Like it's there's a few things we can't do that because of some things in the pipeline right now. Yeah. But hopefully one day we'll be able to release that short film to you because the feature film is going to be completely different. Not completely different, but a little bit more mature in the sense too. But yeah, that's me. And I would proudly like advertise that too and promote it. Yeah. That's something we're very proud of. We wish we could show it, but then like I said, things in the pipeline. Continue though about Murder for Dummies. So then I did sound. Yeah. And this is where I shot myself in the foot because we were now 2 weeks away from the release of it in the Eclipse Theater and the Millennium Fandom Bar. So the thing is, when I was doing sound, I had to recreate a lot of the scenes of sound itself. Yeah. Because there are many like scenes that were not even had sound and had issues. Dead space, right? Yeah. and I had to rebuild the whole entire scene from scratch.
And that's a lot of work too.
Oh my god! It's so what's that in the audio world? It's called sound design.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have a specialty guy to do that.
Yeah.
Basically, you're creating the ambience. Basically, you're creating if you're outside, you're creating the wind noise. You're creating the crickets at a night scene, for instance. You're basically rebuilding what you believe is that where you were at that place. And that's tough because you have to find sounds for all of that. And if you don't have a proper sound library like I did, I didn't have one.
That you were
I had
boy to.
I had to search everything on the internet for those sounds. And luckily there are awesome sites out there that can actually give you sounds for stuff. And I loved it. I loved finding some of them. Some of them was kind of hard to find. Yeah. But in a lot of cases, this is where my audio engineering was put to the test, because a lot of the sounds, just to let you guys know, a lot of the sounds that you're given for film is hard to find. Yeah. Like for instance, finding the perfect motorcycle sound for like a motorcycle. Yeah. You have to find layers and layers of that different motorcycle to make it sound bigger than it is. Yeah. Because you might ever there was this moment where there's a motorcycle scene. Yeah. And it sounds like a scooter.
Was that when Paul 2's on the...
Yes.
Okay.
And he revs it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like a scooter at first.
Oh, wow.
And I just went like, why does it sound like a scooter? Then I realized I had to layer more motorcycle sounds on top of it. And then it sounded like a real motorcycle when I do that, because I had to get a bass part of it, a treble, and a mid...
the whole kit caboodle.
Yeah, in order to get like sounding like how it should sound, like the vroom, vroom, instead of it sounded like a fucking...
That sounded like a cat purring.
No, it was like a...
Yeah, that's like. Oh, I should that sounds like a go-kart.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. And then all of a sudden, when I put all the layered sounds together, it went... I was like, whoa.
It was meteor. I think that's the right term, right?
Yeah.
Meteor?
Oh man. Yeah. So you have to really create a design for the whole thing, and you have to really think about it. Yeah. And now, as being an experience in doing that, because I've done a few
as well
as
having 2 weeks only to do it.
Yeah. On top of that, I was actually experienced enough because I had enough experience working on sound design before, because I did it for a lot of my films, like my regular films myself. And I had a lot of time on those. Yeah. So I was kind of prepared. If I wasn't prepared for this, or if I wasn't skillfully prepared for this, I would have never gotten in time. But basically, I worked my hardest. Those were the was the hardest.
It's okay. You can curse. You worked your ass off. You did work your ass off,
dude. Yeah, that was the hardest one out of all of them. Yeah. Like, creating a sound design was the hardest part. Then we had to bring in ADR. Yeah. Yeah, so there were some scenes where we kind of messed up with the boom pole. Yeah. Or in some cases, the boom pole actually had a XLR issue where it was pulled out a little bit, and it destroyed that XLR input on one of it. So, I didn't realize it, and I was like, crap.
Well, that couldn't have been just your fault. That could have been like Nick's. I mean, not to put blame on anyone else, but it could have been like, Nick's fault or Johnny's fault. It's the little things that you might have been aware. So I'm not going to put the blame fully. You can't put the blame fully on yourself though. At the same time.
Because that was an accident that happened, definitely. Because I heard, and then of course we found the problem later on in one of the other sets where I had to plug it in another way, and it worked better. Yeah. Because it sounded like it lost a lot of its bass, like one of the microphone lost its bass on a lot of those scenes, and so I had to figure out how to fix those kind of sounds, because it sounded different from the other scenes on the other parts of the film. Yeah. So I ended up having ADR come in because of some of those problems. And with I had a really nice condenser mic too. So it helped a lot with that. But I had to also recreate their voices to make it sound like they're outside.
And that's a lot of time to do it. Like, Mark had 2 weeks, and then also on top of that too, Mark.
And we had to work with people's schedules on top of that.
On top of that, people's schedules, and then like the frigging computer crashed.
Oh yeah, so there was one day where my computer completely crashed.
Yeah, and that you called me. I was, you know where
I was freaking out.
You know where I was? I'll never forget. It's like, you know, when people go, I'll never forget when JFK got shot. I know where I was.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when 9/11 happened. I know where I was. I was at Raising Cane's with my reporter, and you called me. Yeah, I was at Raising Cane's on Charleston and by Charleston Valley View. You know that one by the Walmart?
Yeah.
That's where I was, and that's when you called me. And I was drinking. I had to have a 3-piece meal that day. I don't know.
I know.
But I remember I had a fucking fruit punch high C, if that's the thing, whatever it was. That's how accurate I can get.
You never told me this, by the way.
I never told you this. I'm telling you this right now. It's
okay.
Surprise.
Okay.
But I'll never forget that. I got a call from you, and then I got a call from Brian. I had to call everyone. I was talking to everyone, like trying to calm everyone down too. So it was a madhouse a day. It was nuts because also during that time, not to throw you under a bus, but you were kind of also like, I don't know, man, you're very depressed in a sense where it was like you're unsure of yourself, and the thing is, and I told you this countless times, you can't do that to yourself.
Yeah,
because if you do that to yourself, you put yourself in a bad mindset.
Yeah, I have to admit, I kind of put my for these guys, they dealt with a very depressed Mark.
Yeah,
that time. Yeah, and it was because I was going through a lot too. On top of that, but I mean, yeah, the whole process had to go on. And, and eventually we got through it all. It was. I almost thought I lost the whole entire session.
Thank God for autosave.
Yeah. So basically, I had a save session basically that was, and I had autosave enabled on my on Logic Pro 10.
Isn't that autosave automatically though?
Yeah. Well, it saves every 30 minutes, I believe.
Oh, okay.
The problem is that I was in 30 minutes of no save at all. And it was 30 minutes of work.
Gotcha.
And my computer crashed on me during that whole process.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, my computer hasn't been restored, pretty much like resetted in any ways because it needed a reset for a while. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is shit!" And then we're also on an external hard drive doing all this at the same time. So I'm editing audio in externally hard drive. Yeah. What sucks is when Logic Pro crashes and the computer crashes at the same time, turning it back on. If you try to open an old session that you feel like had an autosave, it will have a corrupted file.
Oh, shit.
And that was my issue. I felt like I lost everything.
Holy shit.
Off that session. And that was already, I think, 75% of the way of the finished product.
God damn. See, if that didn't happen, you would have been done that next day.
Yes.
And then it would have been a time crunch. There would have been a whole completely different scenario.
So that was something unexpected. Yeah. I did not expect that. Well, the best part, but the cool part about it is that I had it was about like, I would say 6 saves away.
Okay.
Where an autosave finally worked.
Oh, good. Not
but
too far,
I
but
had
not too...
a lot of fun. It was still a lot of stuff that was
had to be caught up.
Yeah. It was almost like it went from 75% down to 56.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
That is a lot. That's a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, which I eventually went through again, and I did it. And I actually found some flaws in the hold part I was doing.
Well, at least you found those.
Yeah, and that actually helped a little bit more in some ways. So I kind of, in a way, I'm kind of grateful for it in some way. But after that, I started saving after
Smart
every
man.
I started doing that. I made also backups as well, and so that would never happen again. And eventually, we were at a time crunch after that, though. It did set me back really badly.
Yeah, it did.
It was pretty bad. I was freaking out.
You were freaking out, I remember.
I was almost pulling my hair at that time.
I was also calling you, hey, how far are we? 80%. Okay, is that a true 80% or is that a fake 80%? No answer. So it was very stressful in general, and like I said, Mark learned his lesson.
Yeah.
And again, this is also a lesson for everyone too as well.
Yeah.
Instead, like we learn.
Don't take two jobs.
Don't take two jobs, but also don't put a
please.
hard date on something that you don't know until you're at least 90% of the way finished.
And also, if anything, lesson learned. Save your projects, guys. Make backups too.
Backups is important.
Make backups of what you have, because the thing is, I was working with an external hard drive that's not mine.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to get my own external hard drive for that external hard drive, because the thing is, when you don't have a backup that you can, what if they lose their own content?
Then you're screwed.
Yeah, and you're and on top of that, you're the guy that they look to and go, do you still have everything saved? And if you don't have it, that's
screwed.
the end.
Yeah.
That's the end. You already screwed up the whole entire thing.
So then, Murder for Dummies premieres. Is that probably the happiest moment of your film career so far?
Yes, that was probably the best.
Bree even said this. My ex-girlfriend Bree, she said that Mark was very happy, and Mark was like,
I was relieved.
You were relieved, and she said she didn't see that on your face, by the way. So it shows when people are very excited about what they do.
Yeah,
again,
I was stressed.
You were stressed, but you also relieved yourself in a good way, not peeing.
Yes.
So
and it was a happy time at the end.
It was a happy time because we were all proud about what we did.
Yes, I was very proud of that.
Through all the pitfalls, through all the stress, it turned out A-okay.
So I guess in a way I could say, you know what? Yes, it sounds very stressful, all the crap that we've been through.
Yeah.
And what we described to you guys would probably stress you guys out hearing all that. But when you're done with it and you actually see the final product, it goes away.
Yeah.
It really does.
It does.
And actually it makes you extremely proud, because what you just saw from all your hard work you done, it was worth it.
Yeah. It was worth it.
It was worth every single moment.
And now what are you doing? What's any projects you got going on?
Oh, we got The Poet coming forward. I'm going to be coloring that. So John and I have been helping out with that. I do some cinematography stuff, small stuff on the side.
And then you got the Trio web series, which is going to be, I don't know when.
Oh,
I think you'll be coloring that as well, from what I know of. I don't know what.
There's Trio web series coming out that I'm going to work on.
That's supposed to be, I think, sometime in the summer. I don't know when exactly.
I don't know exactly either.
I had to talk to her, Kai, about that.
Yeah, but it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we got, and what, anything else you got coming down the pipeline?
Where It Lies.
Where It Lies, we know that.
I'm definitely starting to work on that. Mr. Psycho.
Oh yes, I remember you telling me about that.
I do have a script on that. That's a finished,
look at you.
A full finished script on that. I just don't have the actors, and I need the funding. That's the only thing. I might do a Kickstarter. Who knows? I'm not sure.
Do whatever you gotta
or
do, man.
Indiegogo, whatever works. But basically, that's finished. That'll be my first ever short film that's actually planned and well done. Yeah.
Very nice. And then, let me ask you this: who are some of your influential directors that you really like?
Right now, my favorites would be Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
I think he does a splendid job and all that. I mean, more like the colorists I like to work with.
Do you have any colorists that you recommend to people that you like their work? Do you have any? I don't know any colorists, to be honest, so I don't know if that's a actual viable question, because it's I know it's teams that work on it, so I don't know if there's one individual colorist.
There's teams mostly.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. What are some besides The Matrix, what are some films that people should watch for color?
Ooh, good one. The newest one would be Blade Runner 2049.
Okay, yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, that's beautifully colored.
Yeah.
I was shocked by that movie, actually. Another one is definitely The Matrix.
Yep.
Definitely The Matrix.
Okay. I said besides The Matrix,
but
that's fine.
I'm sorry.
That works.
Another one would be this is tough, because there's a lot of good ones out there.
All right, pick two more.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like two more. Let's see. There is also.
What about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Is that a good one?
That's a good one. I wouldn't say that's like one of those the ones that I would study,
Yeah.
if anything. Another one would be Space Odyssey.
2001: Space
Yeah.
Odyssey. But there was no really. Well, there's color timing probably in that film, but
No, that's well done.
oh,
too,
really?
Yeah.
It's color corrected.
Yeah.
Oh,
Especially the whites.
well, Stanley Kubrick. Well, but
Whites are well done in that. The thing is, not a lot of people would think about that movie
yeah,
that
because
much.
they probably did color timing at the time. That's different than color grading and color correcting.
Well, no, there's one reason why that movie is well done too.
Yeah.
It's because of the whites there. There
Yeah.
is certain things about the whites.
Okay.
That's
So just in color in general.
Yeah.
So there's as a visual.
Yeah, as a visual perspective
Okay.
of it, like the cinematography based coloring
Okay.
of it. Yeah. The other one is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one
That's really well done.
Yeah.
If you ever want to see the color on that, just how he blends in the color together in every single, because it's a very colorful movie.
Yeah.
It's well done. It's I would say it's there's meaning in every single color in that. So that's
too. I'm
another
gonna have to
reason
watch that
why,
again
yeah.
then. Sorry, everyone. So yeah, thank you, Mark. I think they're gonna wrap it up, and thank you for your time. And I had a really great interview with you, I think, and very fascinating stuff. I didn't know some of that stuff you were telling me too, by the way.
Yeah.
But thank you again, guys. Check out Mark. Mark, what's your handles again?
Okay, so my Instagram is at Killswitch on 815. Same
Spell
thing
it
with
out just
Twitter.
in case.
KILLSWITCHON 815.
Sweet. And then any other handles you want to promote?
Twitter's the same thing. But yeah, other than that, every now and then I'm on Facebook as well. You could look me up. It's Marc Ravasco, and I do live streams on some stuff that I do.
Cool.
For that, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. And guys, that was Chasing the Wave, the audio podcast. Yes, you heard it. Chasing the Wave. Check us out every week on that podcast store. Share us, like us, whatever. Wherever you get your podcast from, download us. We're going to have very interesting podcasts coming up. Thanks again, guys. Have a great rest of the night or day wherever you are living. Bye.